Welcome to this year's announcement of the world's best vineyards. Each year, we curate a prestigious list that spans 5 continents and showcases the finest wine tourism experiences from around the world. Nominated by over 500 leading wine and travel experts from across the world to discover the world's best wine destination experience. Join us as we reveal the top 50 countdown for 2024. Before we find out who has made this year's top 50 list, let's take a look at our esteemed Hall of Fame award, reserved for wine tourism destinations that have topped our annual poll. Let's revisit the moment last year's #1 world's best vineyard was announced.
The winner is Laura Catena. Join us!
It is our huge honor to welcome Catena Zapata into the Hall of Fame. Our congratulations to the Catena Zapata family and the whole team for this monumental achievement. Are you ready to explore the world? Let's discover the top 50 world's best vineyards 2024. New in at number 50 is a founding member of Sustainable Wines of Great Britain. Gusbourne Estate sits in the stunning countryside of Kent, the Garden of England, and focuses on the classic champagne grapes of Chardonnay, Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier. All their wines are sourced solely from their own vineyards. 20 years on from the first plantings, Gusbourne has carved out a niche for itself, not just for outstanding English sparkling wines, but also wonderfully curated Michelin star chef dinners. Our next entry, Vineyard Casa del Bosque, is from Chile. Located in Casablanca Valley, not far from the Pacific coast, Casa del Bosque pursues its goals of passion and dedication to cool climate viticultural excellence. The estate caters for all wine enthusiasts, offering classes in winemaking and blending, as well as private wine tours which take in both their vineyards and their barrel rooms. On the other side of the world, and within sight of Mount Fuji, we encounter Japanese winery 98 Wines. New to the top 50 this year, 98 Wines is named after the concept of imperfection. They believe that by meeting people from all over the world who resonate with them and are attracted to each other, the imperfect 98 can become that perfect 100. High-quality Koshu wine and delicious espressos are served from their lovely tasting room. With an estate roughly the same size as the Louvre and a penchant for hosting contemporary art exhibitions, it is no surprise that Maison Pommery Champagne has earned a place in our top 50. This well-known champagne house has been hosting visitors since 1878, but the Villa Demoiselle fell into disrepair. Now, thanks to a collaboration between architects, cabinet makers and decorators, this Art Nouveau cum Art Deco residence is once again resplendent. To the rich and diverse terroir of one of the oldest winemaking nations, at number 46 is Lebanese winery Chateau Kefraya. The castle was founded in 1946 on a Roman hilltop in the Bekaa Valley, 1,000 meters above the Mediterranean Sea. 5 years later, the first vines were planted at Chateau Kefraya, which continues the ancient winemaking lineage of Lebanon. Straight in at number 45 is Gramona, where the family have been farming their land in the Anoia River Valley, Spain, for over 150 years. To combat the changing climate, they work biodynamically, using horses for ploughing, following the phases of the moon and pruning their goblet Trencharello vines by hand. The 5th and 6th generation firmly believe it is their duty to learn to interpret nature, from Spain to West Coast America, specifically to Napa Valley and Duckhorn Vineyards. Set near the delightful town of St. Helena, these luscious, luxurious Californian wines make our top 50 for the first time. Duckhorn pioneered high-end Merlot and continue to make wines of distinction. Should you need a break from wine tasting, then the picturesque landscape is perfect for hot air ballooning. And there are multiple golf courses and numerous wellness options, including yoga, hot springs, and award-winning spas. From the warmth of Napa Valley to the plains of Hungary now, and Sepsi Winery. The Sepsi family has been making wines in Hungary since the 1500s. István Sepsi, Sr., is locally known as the Lord of Wine. His unfailing commitment to his family's heritage meant he kept his private vineyard hidden from the communists. This esteemed dynasty is deeply linked to the first ever recorded production of Tokaj Asu. Venturing into the top 50 for the first time at number 42 are the organic and biodynamic vineyards of Maison M. Chapoutier. Humility is at the heart of the Chapoutier soul. Fac et spera, do and hope, is the family motto. Nature always has the final say. The winemaker can but watch, decide and guide nature in the most respectful way. To the continent of Africa and the country of South Africa for our next estate, Klein Constantia Winery. With views over False Bay and set amidst ancient trees, this stunning estate, founded in 1685 by the inaugural governor of Cape Town, is renowned for its white wines and the iconic dessert wine Vin de Constance. Unwind under the jacaranda trees, enjoy the sea breeze and relish farm-to-table and head-to-toe bistro-style food. Where we might shiver, vines will thrive, and we find winery number 40 high up in the Andes Mountains. Bodega Colomé in Calchaquí Valley has long been a champion of South American high-altitude viticulture. This, the oldest winery in Argentina, offers an unforgettable experience in a spectacular valley. A combination of art, culture, adventure travel and gastronomy. Staying within the same mountain range, we head over to Bodega Diamandes. This ergonomically designed gravity flow winery lies at the heart of Mendoza's Uco Valley and skillfully blends into the landscape, maximizing exposure to light to reduce energy use. From here comes a range of award-winning organic and vegan-friendly wines, including the celebrated Clos de las Siete. To Uruguay next, and a walk among the vineyards of Bodegas Buza. A short journey from the center of Montevideo and cooled by the nearby Rio de la Plata, Bodega Buza sits among the tranquil landscape of Melilla. Tours at this family-run winery finish with tastings or lunch beside their classic car collection, while the vineyard at Las Espinas has its own restaurant and offers both beautifully paired menus and 360-degree views of the local countryside. A world away in Australia, at number 37 on our list, is McGill Estate, home to the famous, timeless, peerless Penfolds and their iconic Grange label. Just 15 minutes from central Adelaide, this is one of only a handful of urban single vineyards in the world. The spiritual birthplace of Penfolds welcomes visitors daily and offers a variety of experiences, from cellar visits to heritage experiences, or soak up stunning vineyard views and exemplary dishes in the McGill Estate restaurant and kitchen. High on a cliff stands number 36, Quinta do Noval. Surrounded by vine-filled terraces and with a cypress tree in front of the house, this Douro property is instantly recognizable from afar and, interestingly, is the only historic port shipper to bear the name of its vineyard. Famous for its Nacional port from a plot of century-old vines, the estate is also rightly proud of its olive oils produced from 26 hectares of native olive trees. Up next is our best vineyard in Asia. At number 35, it's Chateau Héritage. Based in the Bekaa Valley, Lebanon, Chateau Héritage has millennia of local winemaking history to draw on. The third generation of winemakers are keen to preserve the ancient traditions of Lebanese winemaking while mastering state-of-the-art technologies. To the historic center of Jerez, where we find our next entry. Bodegas Tío Pepe. A leading light in the production of sherry since the 19th century, the 200-year-old cellars, trellis-lined streets and Andalusian courtyards of the bodega are yours to explore. Visit the revolutionary Bodega de la Concha, which houses 206 butts of Amontillado and was built by the famous French engineer Gustave Eiffel. Next, we sail away to the second longest river in Europe, the Danube. At number 33, it's Domaine Vacau. Domaine Vacau farms more organically cultivated vineyards than any other estate in Austria. Many of the plots are less than 2 hectares and are beautifully situated along the banks of the River Danube. At the Domaine, visitors can experience the full breadth of the terroir and the wines that spring forth from this elegant region, taking the title of Best Vineyard in Australasia. At number 32, we head over to McLaren Vale for our next winery, D'Arenberg. Just 45 minutes south of Adelaide, D'Arenberg is so much more than a cellar door, as any visitor will soon find out. The unique personality of each vineyard and variety is encouraged here, with minimal intervention and time-honoured techniques, and their winery hosts numerous art exhibitions in its cube installation, which is strikingly situated amongst the vines. Our first Rioja winery in the top 50 list this year, at number 31, it's Bodegas Vivanco. Uniquely, Bodegas Vivanco is concerned just as much with researching and curating the culture of wine as it is making wine. In the wine corner, the tasting flights are educational, and there is even a Rioja heritage menu served in their restaurant. The second Rioja winery in our top 50 is Marques de Murrieta Estate. The Murrieta Estate has been exporting fine Rioja wines since its first vintage in 1852, and early export markets included Mexico and Cuba. Their original headquarters became a museum in 2019, and just 2 years later, a new state-of-the-art winemaking facility was built next to the Castillo de Igay. At number 29, we return to Argentina and El Enemigo. Inspired by the likes of Cheval Blanc and founded by two wine giants, Alejandro Vigil and Adriana Catena, El Enemigo has quickly become one of Argentina's top wine estates, specializing in Cabernet Franc and Bordeaux blends. El Enemigo translates as the enemy, but the battle they see is the one against themselves, the original battle, the one that defines them. Back to the Douro Valley, and next up in the top 50, Quinta do Bonfim. Bonfim is where Dow's legendary vintage ports are produced, and it is possibly the only vineyard tour where hats and bottles of water are handed out to all guests. But then, the Symington family are renowned for their attention to detail. There are tastings of port and table wines available, whilst their Michelin-starred chef rustles up authentic Douro cuisine in Restaurant Bonfim 1896, for those who have walked up an appetite. Staying in Europe, we head over to France, and for fans of top-notch pink fizz at number 27, it's Champagne Bilcal Salmon. In 1970, this family-run house changed the game in Champagne by reimagining the region's rosé wines. With its signature pale colour and notes of red berries, the Brut Rosé Cuvée quickly became the house's flagship wine and a reference for all rosé champagne. Climbing in and heading straight to number 26 is Mattias Riccitelli. Set high up in Luján de Cuyo, within sight of the majestic, snow-capped Andes Mountains, Mattias Riccitelli is the second generation of his family to make wine here from ungrafted vineyards dating back to the 1920s. This fascination with old vines has also taken him to Patagonia, where he sources Semillon, Merlot and Malbec that were planted in the 60s. Up next is this year's highest new entrant. At number 25, in the ancient and mystical land of Umbria, it's Tenuta Castelbuono. It took 6 years to build the Carapace winery, shaped, as its name implies, like the shell of a tortoise, a symbol of stability and longevity. Copper-covered and engraved with fissures that remind one of furrows in the earth, this colossus and functional winery is a testament to the Lunelli's patronage of culture and the arts. For number 24, we head back to the US and Sonoma County, where Jordan Vineyard and Winery was established in 1972. That was over 50 years ago. Back then, Tom and Sally Jordan were pioneers, looking to create a Bordeaux-style Cabernet that was approachable when young, but that would also age. Not only did they excel in this regard, but their French-style ivy-clad chateau has become a magnet for European-inspired hospitality. To the foothills of the Sierra Cantabria next as we return to Spain for number 23, Bodegas Muga. Based in the historic Barrio de la Estación in the town of Haro, this emblematic winery has been at the heart of Rioja since 1932. To this day, the winery continues to use oak in all three of the winemaking processes: fermentation, aging, and storage. They employ 3 coopers at a cubero who specializes in large wooden casks. Our 22nd winery is also a newcomer to the top 50, Castello Banfi. Founded in 1978 by Italian-American brothers John and Harry Mariana, after acquiring the medieval fortress crowning the hilltop village of Poggio alla Mura, Tuscany. Their mission was simple: to produce the best Brunello di Montalcino possible. The family's pursuit of excellence continues to this day, reflected not only in their wines, but in the beautiful manicured gardens. At number 21 is a Bordeaux property fit for a pope. Château Pape Clément. A near mythical Grand Cru Classé estate with its first harvest recorded back in 1252. This property has been a pillar of the Grave for over 700 years. Their intense and refined reds and bewitching dry white wines are well known to connoisseurs. The estate offers 5 suites in which to stay and an extensive array of tasting experiences and workshops. Gastronomy and wine also mesh perfectly at the organic Italian wine estate, Cerreto. Founded in the 1930s in the beautiful Langhe region, the Cerreto family combine fine wine, good food, history and modernity that rest at the heart of North Italian culture. As well as the love and care that guides their efforts both in the vineyards and the cellar, they are also founding members of Piazza Duomo, the first 3-starred Michelin restaurant in Piedmont. At 19, our next entry is in Chile's Colchagua Valley. It's Viu Manent. Run by the 3rd generation of a Catalonian immigrant family, Viu Manent's mission is to make consistently outstanding wines. Hallmarks of their work include their attention to detail and their concern for the biodiversity of their 254-hectare estate, which teems with indigenous plants and wildlife, bird of prey platforms and conservation corridors. Across the Andes to Argentina for number 18, Bodega Salentín. With vineyards rising up to 5,600 feet, Bodega Salentín has dedicated itself to expressing the heart and soul of Mendoza's Uco Valley. Up here, the high level of solar intensity and a meager average rainfall of just 8 inches produces very healthy phenolic-rich grapes. Stay in their exclusive ranch, situated amongst the gardens and vineyards. Back to Chile, and to a winery that is a member of B Corp, a global movement of companies that seek to make a positive impact on the world. Montes. Cross the wooden path over the small lagoon whose water flows in the direction of the winery and walk into the world of Montes. Founded in 1987, this thought-provoking Feng Shui winery quickly became a leading light in the production of fine Chilean wine and now exports to over 100 countries. Our best vineyard in North America is an icon of the Napa Valley. Straight in at number 16, it's Robert Mondavi Winery. Without doubt one of the most influential winemakers of the 20th century, Robert Mondavi founded his winery in 1966 in Oakville. Their Tocolon vineyard is the highest rated vineyard in North America and famous throughout the world. Today the winery is committed to sustainable wine growing and was the first to receive an Innovator Award from California's Environmental Protection Agency. To another beautiful valley and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Staying at number 15, our next entry is Quinta do Crasto. Situated on the right bank of the Douro River between Regoa and Pinhão, the 135 hectares of Quinta do Crasto have been in the hands of the Roquette family for over a century. Their winery tour covers all aspects of viticulture and winemaking and finishes in the century-old farmhouse with a wine tasting. From the Douro to Campania in southern Italy and the town of Irpinia. New to the top 50 is Tenuta Cavalier Pepe. The greatness and beauty of wine comes from the interaction of thousands of different vines, each of which interprets its terroir in a distinct way. But this estate has never just been about fine wine. It was always about hospitality and tourism too. You can walk in search of Irpinian truffles and taste them with historic vintages. At number 13, we travel back to France and to Bordeaux, to Château d'Yquem. Without a doubt, the most emblematic property in Sauternes, and the only one of Bordeaux's famous sweet wine estates to be designated a Premier Cru Supérieur back in 1855. Visit the 400-year-old chateau and its 100 hectares of vineyards farmed along biodynamic principles. Experience a moment of grace. Meet and taste this astonishingly complex and long-lived wine. Climbing 11 places to number 12 is Champagne Bollinger. A maison that has always been marked by flamboyant characters, from the ebullient Lily Bollinger to fiction's greatest spy, James Bond. Bollinger are fortunate to own 2 vineyards which have never succumbed to phylloxera and, unusually, have a history of using Pinot Noir as the base for their cuvées. From the moment you enter Madame Bollinger's delightful maison and scuttle down the passageways into the subterranean cellars, past and present become one. At number 11, we head back to Uruguay for Bodega Garzón. A visit to Bodega Garzón is to experience every winemaker's dream. Incredible landscapes, weathered rock soils, and a world-class, highly innovative and entirely sustainable winery. Walk up an appetite through acres of vineyards. The winery will equip you with all that you need, including binoculars, maps, and sunscreen, before touring the winery. The top 10. And at number 10 is Argentinian estate Duriguti Family Winemakers. Founded by the Duriguti brothers Hector and Pablo in 2002, this winery has made a substantial impact in little over 20 years. Born and bred in Mendoza, the brothers share a passion for the wine and gastronomy of their local land. This is evident not only in their range of wines, but also at their Five Suelos restaurant, where the cuisine is sourced from the nearby kitchen garden and small local producers. Climbing up to number 9, it's Weingut Dr. Lürsen from the Mosel. With vines clinging to the most precipitous slopes in Europe, the views from Germany's Mosel Valley are nothing less than spectacular. The irrepressible Ernie Lürsen took over the family estate in 1988 and made it his mission to educate the world about Riesling from these great vineyards, as well as producing world-class wine. For our next destination of experiences, we head southwest to Spain and Abadía Retuerta. A former monastery founded in Ribera del Duero in the 12th century, Abadía Retuerta is a winery with its own PDO, one that recognises its 8 centuries of winemaking history. The old monastery building is now a boutique hotel, replete with restaurants, spa and wellness facilities, and offering bespoke experiences centred around wine, art and nature. Now to an island of green, and amid the forests and hedgerows of the Grave, we find Chateau Smith Haute Lafitte at number 7. Deep gravel soils provide ideal conditions for the production of both top-class red and white wines. Constantly seeking harmony with nature, the Catial family are devoted to the promotion of soil life. They make their own organic compost, maintain and plant new hedgerows, use horses in the vineyards and keep bees. They view the wine grower as the architect of the landscape. More champagne now, this time from the masters of Blanc de Blanc, Maison Ruinart. Over the centuries, Ruinart, the first ever house of Champagne, has become renowned for its mastery of Chardonnay and its patronage of art. The Prix Maison Ruinart is awarded to an emerging photographer whose works are inspired by their residence in Reims. Visit their astonishing UNESCO-registered chalk cellars, or Crayères, and taste their signature champagnes. Perched above the River Rhine at number 5 is Domaine Schloss Johannisberg. Wine has been made at Schloss Johannisberg for over 1,200 years, and the land has been planted exclusively with Riesling since 1720. The estate owns 300 hectares of forest, from which they harvest oak for their barrels. Visit the palace grounds and impressive cellar, which houses the historical 11th century treasure chamber, Biblioteca Subterranea, with wines dating back to 1748. Nestled in the Basque foothills of the Sierra Cantabria, we find our highest climber. New to the top 50 and straight in at number 4, it's Isios. The winery, designed by Santiago Calatrava, represents an ongoing dialogue with nature. The wines are similarly revolutionary, combining tradition with innovation, honouring the roots and heritage of Rioja Alavesa, whilst at the same time daring to redefine them. There is a trendy wine bar where the avant-garde architecture can be admired whilst tasting the most limited collections. Into the top 3 now, and the best vineyard in Africa. Taking the 3rd best vineyard in the world is Creation, a little piece of heaven on earth. Owned by JC and the exuberant Carolyn. Creation is named after the favourable growing conditions and dramatic landscape of Hemel en Ard. Highly acclaimed Pinot Noir and Chardonnay are produced in the winery, which lies at the base of the Babylonstoren mountain amid swards of fynbos. We stay in the southern hemisphere for our runner-up, winning the best vineyard in South America. At number 2, it's the impressive Vic. Vic sits within an enormous nature reserve covering 4,300 hectares in Cachipoal Valley, of which less than 8% is planted to vines. Entering this modern winery, craftily designed to blend into its surroundings, is to be immersed in the Vic experience. A blend of avant-garde architecture, innovation and winemaking science. Vic's luxury hotel and spa dazzles with its contemporary art and panoramic views. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Taking the top spot as the best vineyard in Europe and the best vineyard in the world. At number 1 on the list of the world's top 50 best vineyards to visit 2024 is Bodegas de los Herederos del Marqués de Riscal. Marqués de Riscal is set in the heart of the medieval town of El Ciego and has been at the forefront of Rioja winemaking since its creation in 1858. Today, it is home to the striking City of Wine, designed by Frank Gehry, a complex with luxury accommodation, Michelin-starred cuisine, and a wine spa offering natural treatments containing the extraordinary properties of the vine and the grape. An enormous congratulations to Bodegas de los Herederos del Marqués de Riscal and the whole team for this monumental achievement as the world's best vineyard and the best vineyard in Europe. Congratulations to all vineyards listed this year. Visit our website for detailed profiles of the top 50 featured vineyards in this video and browse our website to discover more of the world's best vineyards and wine regions. Thank you for watching.